One of my major goals with this YouTube channel is to present just how professional iPhone cinematography can be. So when iFootage asked if I would like to showcase their brand new SharkNano II 860, I jumped at the opportunity for a couple reasons. One, this product is not designed as a mobile-first product, and that is why I really like it. Because when you pair this with the DJI gimbal from an RS2, which is what I'm using, all the way up to the brand new RS5, this unit can support up to 7 kilograms. For us here in the United States, that's about 15.4 pounds. And so unless I'm using a B-script adapter and using some really heavy lenses, there is absolutely no way for me to overload this unit with a cell phone. This new, longer unit moves the Nano 2 from 660 millimeters up to 860 millimeters in total unit length. But in terms of travel, you actually get 633 millimeters or 2 feet of travel distance. I do feel like 2 feet is such a good amount of track to be able to achieve pretty much any shot you want to do. I will say this is about as long of a track as I would want doing solo content creation. So, maybe I should get more friends. This past week of testing, I've been using both my cell phone and my Red Komodo, and it has worked flawlessly as long as I was using the correct power. This is something I'm going to get into a little bit later. Now, I'm also extremely proud to say that Blackmagic Design reached out not too long ago and asked if I wanted to be a part of their creator program. With that, they loaned out a couple units for me to take a look at: the DaVinci Resolve Micro Color Panel and the Blackmagic Pro Dock. So, using the Nano 2, let's see what product cinematography we can create. Okay, so here's the setup. We have our iFootage on top of this Miller head, which is the Compass CX10, which is a 100 millimeter ball. So it is pretty heavy duty and can hold all this weight. And for lighting, we have a very simple setup, an Aperture 300D Mark II going into the Aperture light dome for a nice diffuse light. In terms of my best practices when using the Nano 2, I have kind of dedicated to going a slower pace with the actual unit. And then speeding up footage as needed in post. This unit can go fairly fast, but I've found it can introduce more shake than what I would want. Now, this is also kind of highlighting the limitations of the gear that I own because I am using a pretty beefy tripod, but in best case scenarios, I would have 2 low boys. Now, even though this is designed to be paired with a DJI gimbal, that doesn't mean that you necessarily need one, because I have a built-in panning motor, which I was able to achieve a lot of amazing results without any additional GAC. What's cool though is that you can set up to 8 different keyframes. So if you really want to dial in a very complex move, you can. My moves that I wanted to achieve were fairly simple, but it's amazing that you could stack all the way up to 8. That's far more than what I need in my day-to-day cinematography. This system is about as plug and play as you could hope for. Once you power it on, all you have to do is hit the power and function button at the same time, and that will unlock your track. You can then position your slider to wherever you want it. Tap A, move the slider. Once you have your next position, tap B, and move throughout the alphabet. Attaching the Ronin couldn't be simpler with their included baseplate adapter. Simply plug it in, use a provided cable that will communicate to the Ronin, and then power it on. Make sure in the settings that you turn on push to tilt and push to pan. Once you do that, you're good to go. You can also integrate this with the DJI Osmo 3. And through Bluetooth, you can connect to the slider via the iFootage Mocha app. Here you will gain every control you have on the slider, but gives you the opportunity to control it remotely. Now, what's really cool is that there's multiple mounting options. You can mount this horizontal, vertical, or flip it over and have it as an overhead unit. Now, when you move from horizontal to vertical, the payload capacity is reduced to about 3 kilograms, but that's still plenty of weight for what we're going to be doing. Now, the slider has plenty of mounting points already, both 1/4-20 and 3/8/16. However, I do think there could be opportunity to include many more. Now, that just might be me because I do love having 1/4-20s everywhere, 3/8/16 everywhere, because I want the ability to rig this in any way I need. And although there are more than enough to do the job, could use a few more. That's, kind of listen, I got a problem with that. The biggest con that I'm going to talk about when it comes to the iFootage is the fact that it does not play well with third-party power systems. It is absolutely a system that just wants to use what it is made to be used with. So I highly recommend you either pick up the PD140 battery or make sure that you use the PD 60-watt wall charger that they include in the package. iFootage, what I'll say is that I would love a warning on the power system. If it's too much power, inconsistent power, too little power, and that's something that I think should absolutely be rectified in future firmware updates. Okay, that's it. I have more to come and more often. So truly, please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.